Hello again, fabulous TAs. Teaching assistant interviews are pivotal moments that can shape your career in education. Many of you approach these interviews with the best of intentions, but certain mistakes jeopardise your chances of securing the role. So, in this video, I'll uncover 10 common mistakes teaching assistants make during interviews and explore why they happen. By identifying these pitfalls, you will understand what not to do, setting the stage for success in future interviews. Interview mistake 1: failing to research the school. Many of you walk into interviews without a clear understanding of the school's values, ethos, specific challenges, policies, or initiatives. This lack of preparation is often evident when asked questions about why you want to work there. It happens because candidates underestimate the importance of aligning themselves with the school's vision. Interview mistake 2: giving generic answers. When asked about your strengths, experiences, or approaches to supporting students, some of you provide overly vague or generic responses. This often stems from nervousness or a lack of reflection in your unique skills and experiences. Generic answers fail to make a lasting impression on the interviewer, meaning you're not going to be uppermost in the interviewer's mind once the interview is over. Interview mistake 3: talking too much or too little. Some candidates ramble, providing long-winded answers that stray off topic, while others give overly brief responses that lack substance. This imbalance often results from nervousness or uncertainty about how much detail the interviewer is looking for, and it makes interviewers wonder if you'll be able to explain concepts to students in a way they'll understand. Interview mistake 4: neglecting to prepare for scenario-based questions. Teaching assistant interviews often include scenario-based questions like, how would you handle a disruptive child? Many candidates stumble here because they haven't practiced formulating structured, specific answers. This mistake happens because candidates assume they can wing it rather than planning their responses. Interview mistake 5: overlooking non-verbal communication. Body language speaks volumes during an interview. Poor eye contact, slouching, or fidgeting can make you appear disengaged or unconfident. This issue arises when candidates are overly focused on their verbal responses, forgetting how their body language supports their message. Now, before I continue, if you are finding this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. It will only take you a second, and it's a small way to show your appreciation for this free content that will create a big boost for my channel. Thank you. Interview mistake 6: bad-mouthing previous employers or colleagues. When asked about past challenges, some candidates make the mistake of criticising former employers, schools, or colleagues. This happens when candidates vent frustration without considering how negatively it reflects on their professionalism. Interview mistake 7: undermining the role of a teaching assistant. Occasionally, candidates diminish the role of the TA by focusing too heavily on ambitions of becoming a teacher or presenting the position as a stepping stone. This mistake often stems from a misunderstanding of how much schools value dedicated teaching assistants. Interview mistake 8: failing to ask thoughtful questions. At the end of the interview, many candidates either have no questions or ask something overly basic, such as, when will I hear back? This happens because they haven't prepared questions that show genuine interest in the school, the role, or their potential contribution. Interview mistake 9: relying too much on written notes. Some candidates bring written notes into interviews, which can be a useful tool. However, over relying on these notes, constantly looking down, or reading verbatim from a script can make you appear unprepared or less confident. This happens because candidates worry about forgetting key points and rely on their notes as a crutch rather than trusting their ability to communicate naturally. Interview mistake 10: not demonstrating a real interest in the role. Lastly, some candidates fail to convey genuine enthusiasm for the job. Whether through tone, energy, or content, they come across as disengaged or uncertain about why they want to be a teaching assistant. This often happens when candidates feel overwhelmed or haven't reflected deeply on their motivations. Understanding what to do in a teaching assistant interview is just as important as knowing. I'll start again. Understanding what not to do in a teaching assistant interview is just as important as knowing what to do. These 10 pitfalls highlight the areas where candidates often falter, sometimes valuing insights into their nuances or interview preparation. By identifying these common mistakes, you can begin the journey toward mastering the art of the interview. And if you'd like to know how to avoid the errors talked about in this video and what to do instead, watch this video next.